I want you to see how this looks nice and fluffy on the inside. Let's open it up. Like, look at that deliciousness. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making South Africa, or I must say one of the birds, one of South Africa's favorite breakfasts. Now this is not a healthy breakfast. It's greasy, but so good. We're gonna be making Magwinya, slap chips, and Russian. Let's go. To begin, we're gonna start with blooming our yeast. And to do that, you need 3 teaspoons of dry active yeast, a cup, okay, me spilling, and a half of warm water, about a tablespoon of sugar, because yeast feeds on sugar. That's what's going to make your yeast, that's what's going to activate your yeast. Whisk that together and then set this aside until it forms up. And then to this large bowl, I'm going to add 3 cups of, I've got cake flour over here, a teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 of a cup of sugar, because I like my Magwinya on the sweeter side, just as my mama taught me. I'm gonna combine those dry ingredients. Once your yeast is formed up like this, add a tablespoon of oil to it. Then we're gonna pour it into the dry ingredients. I like to start stirring in with a fork, and then it's shaggy like that. I'll move on to my hands to start. This is a very wet dough. Don't be surprised by it. So you can't really knead it the way you would usually. Can see it's a bit wet than normal bread, because we want it light and fluffy. Do a bit of slap and fold as it's wet. With wet dough, it is best to do slap and fold to activate your gluten. Like when you use different flours, you might sometimes get different results. So look at this texture and study how the texture looks. So you might need to use a little bit more flour, or a little bit, what's that accent? A little bit more flour or a little bit more water, depending on the flour you're using. And please don't use self-rising flour. I think that's enough stretching and folding. You don't need to knead it too long, because you're not looking for a certain structure. I'm getting it off here with my bench scraper, and then getting it back in the bowl. And then I'm gonna set this aside, cover it, and let it rise double in size. Rise double in size. Rhyming, baby, we're rhyming. I'm gonna let it rise and double in size before we get ready to fry it. I don't know how long that's gonna take, because it's warmer today. It might take 45 minutes, but depending on where you are, just look at it and be like, it must be somewhere up to here, and it's doubled in size and nice and airy. Did I mention that you cover it? Yes, please cover it when you're letting it rise. While that's rising, we're gonna start preparing our potatoes for slap chips. Make sure to place it in a bowl with water so it doesn't oxidize. It's been about 30 minutes and the dough is nearly ready, so we're going to start heating up our oil. Get you a pan, pot, whatever you're going to fry in, and make sure you have fill it up 3/4 of the way up, because you do want the baby Magwinya fit cook to float. not 3/4, a quarter of the way up. About that much oil. You do need a lot of oil because you're deep frying, remember. This is how our dough is looking, nice and airy. You can see it is aerated. Waiting for the oil to heat up. It's not going to take long. Just put it on medium heat because you want them to cook through and fry, so not high heat, just medium heat. You're also going to need a bowl of water. That's going to help you, like, you're going to stick your hand in it when you're busy with the dough so the dough doesn't stick to your hands. And then I'm going to use a tester, a bit of dough, to see if it floats to the top immediately. Yep, we're ready. Wet my hands, not too much dough, and then grab my dough like that. You're gonna get a nice piece like that, and then, oh, my hands are not wet enough. It's a very wet dough. And try and form it into a ball between my hands like that, and then flatten it out. Don't be scared to flatten it out. It's gonna rise once it's in there, and then pop it in there away from yourself. Remember, when you're frying, you don't want to crowd your pot, making sure they're not sticking to the bottom of the pot. I got 4 in there, and then flip them when they're lightly brown. You're going to flip them back and forth though. I'm going to flip them. You want them to get a nice dark golden brown. Get a dish, and I'm going to line it with paper towel to drain the oil. Oh, they look so nice. So nice. You see, I'm not crowding the pan, so the oil doesn't cool down way too much. I'm going to fry each one for about 5 minutes, I think. Between 3 to 5 minutes. You just want a nice dark color. I'm just making sure that the inside is nicely cooked. That's why I'm flipping them continuously. I could actually fit one. Let me wet my hands off to my dough, and then I pinch it between my thumb and my index finger like that. And then stretch it out. And then when I put it in here away from myself, like that, so if the oil splatters, it splatters that way, not towards me. I've got this puppy to help me get them out. Look at that. Get the rest in there. With those nearly done, we're going to drain our potatoes from the water. So I've got a clean dish towel, and I'm going to place them on here to drain the water, because we're getting ready to fry, because these are nearly coming out. And you're going to wipe them dry. Multitasking, baby, multitasking. My hands have water. Hey, we're now utlafia. I'm excited about this. Now, in the very same oil, we're going to fry our chips. And the main objective with slap chips is not to get them crispy. You want them, slap means sleeping, so you want them a bit soggy and soft chips. So I'm going to pop my potatoes in there. The oil is too hot. Let me turn the heat down. And to get that, you have to overcrowd your pan. This is where you actually do the opposite of what you know. Overcrowd your pan so they don't crisp up. Drain the next batch. This goes quick once your dough is ready. It just goes. Let's see how long they take. We've been in here for 1 minute. So I'm going to tell you how long these took. But it will all depend on the type of potato you're using and how thick you slice them. So just take it out and taste it to see if it's cooked. And then to season them, I'm going to use my favorite spice, the Heinz chip seasoning. My English was, we were doing so well. And we were not making mistakes, and we were not forgetting words. Now you know it's me. Now you know it's not AI, it's really me. Chip seasoning. And I'm going to season them immediately when I get them out the oil. Because you know what I taught you. Well, the oil is outside of this chip, and you pour your spice on, it sticks on. If you wait for them too long, the oil dries out, and then when you pour your seasoning on, it doesn't stick to the chip. It's all at the bottom of the bowl, and that's not what you want. You don't want seasoning at the bottom of the bowl. Okay. Okay, now it's 7 minutes later, and I feel like they're nicely cooked. They don't get like that golden, depending on the potato you're using. Like I said, season them from a height so it sprinkles all over. Oops. Let me get the next batch in here. Now we're about to make our Russians, our cold meat, and then I'm gonna drain most of the oil and just leave a bit to coat the bottom of the pan. Not get rid as in throw away. I'm just pouring it into a dish that can take the heat, because remember the oil is hot. Don't do it into a glass bowl. I'm using these Russians from Escort. Hey, do you remember when Escort gave us listeriosis and sliced them into rings, I guess, about a centimeter thick, like that. And then in here they go. Like I said, I just want to brown them, so I'm flipping them. Just want to get some nice color and warm them up like that. Now it's time to serve. You've got your Magwinya. It's that. Usually you get your chips in like a paper bag, like a baking paper like this, so that's why I did that. So our Magwinya. Grated up some cheese right there, and then our chips go on. Let's get our Russians on there. Look at that. I want you to see how this looks nice and fluffy on the inside. Let's open it up. Like, look at that deliciousness. If you have some achar, you also add that in here. So I'm gonna put in some of the Russian, a bit of cheese, a bit of the slaap chips. Close that sandwich up and it's nice and crunchy on the outside and soft and fluffy on the inside. This is what I'd like to call like the ultimate South African brunch, because once you have this, you're not gonna eat till dinner. This will fill you right up. Carb loading, I tell you. So that's it for making Magwinya chips and Russian, South Africa's ultimate breakfast. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please press the thumbs up button, like button, and thank you for joining me. See you again next time. Bye bye.